Hey everyone, welcome to BP and the rider roundup for the week. I know I missed last week, but things were a bit busy. And many thanks to those that are watching the BSA videos currently available. There are more to come. And maybe a trip to America, certainly a trip into Europe. Planning a trip into Europe, but I'll tell you more about that in another video. But let's go down to the rider roundup with Motorcycle News's weekly edition. And it's currently Thursday the 11th, so the new edition was out on Tuesday the 9th of January. And I'm just having a look through there for a couple of stories. So what we're going to be talking about today is the new Triumph Daytona, the 660cc, 93 horsepower. Nice to see the Daytonas coming out again. We're going to talk about the hydrogen Kawasaki H2. Okay. The Zontes ADV, the adventure from Zontes, which is the 700cc or 699cc adventure bike that's coming out. That's going to be good value. And also a quick look at the Yadea Chinese electric bike. Only a quick look. Let's get the intro. Okay, let's talk about the Triumph Daytona that's coming out. So the Triumph Daytona is using the triple engine from the Trident. It's kicking out 93 horsepower. It weighs 201 kilograms. And it's kicking out 51 pounds of torque. So looking at 8,600 on the road, and that's going to be available at the end of March 2024. Now, it's not as sporty as the previous Daytonas. Apparently it's a much softer machine, so that's a good thing. The Daytona means a bit to me because in 1993 I had a Daytona 1000 that was the 4-cylinder Yamaha engine and gearbox, I believe. I'm sure it was the Yamaha gearbox and engine, and that was I was living in Sheffield at the time. It was winter and it was stolen. I went out to the bank. I never used to ride it on a regular basis. Went out to the bank one Sunday evening, took out some cash, rode it back, always looked in my rear view mirrors to make sure no one was following me, put it at the end of the drive, took the key out, opened the garage. As I turned around, a guy was sat on the bike plunging my ignition. He started it up and rode off up the road. Yeah, that was one of the neighbours that did that. Pity, really. So no one followed me up. It was the dead of night. It was a Sunday evening. No one was on the roads, and unfortunately that bike got stolen. It was recovered a couple of weeks later. Actually, after a couple of days after it being stolen, the police got in touch with me and said it had been parked up in a lockup with a number of other expensive motorbikes, and it was something to do with a drugs racket. They were obviously shipping these expensive bikes abroad, selling them for cash, sending them down to the Middle East or Africa and things like that. And I did get the bike back. The only damage was a tiny little scratch to the bodywork, and a new barrel was required. Talked to the insurance. My insurance then, and I know this is a long time ago, my insurance was something like £200 fully comp. When it came to renew the insurance, having just had a conversation with them, my insurance went from £200 to £800. Now, £800 in 1993 was a lot of money. So I ended up selling it to, ironically, a police officer. A police officer bought that bike. But anyway, back to the Triumph Daytona. Yeah, so it's going to be a softer ride than the past. So it's not going to be like the GSX-R 600s of 2003 and things like that. It will be in the dealers at the end of March. There is an update that can be performed to the bike, reducing the 93 horsepower down to a maximum of 47 horsepower, which I believe is the A2 compliant solution. So if you're on an A2 license, you can ride the new up-and-coming Daytona from Triumph, which is cool. £8,600 on the road. Okay, let's talk about the H2 Kawasaki. So we know what the H2 Kawasaki is. It's some 200 horsepower and everything's absolutely cool. However, Kawasaki are now offering a glimpse into the future with the Hydrogen Ninja H2 SX concept. So it's a concept bike, and I'm going to put some photos of this right now. And as you can see, it looks like something out of Judge Dredd. So why, who designs these things? Who designs them, yeah? To make them look like it's out of some science fiction movie. Why don't they make them look like normal bikes? Just normal bikes, so that people can get excited about the concept and then start thinking about buying one. Whoever would buy this would be some kind of lunatic. It doesn't look, maybe you think it does look nice. Put the comments below. Do you think it looks nice? Would you want to buy one? Where are you going to put, if where the pannier would fit, which stores the fuel cells for the hydrogen, how are you going to tour on this if you would tour on this? What are you going to do? It seems a real pity that they've not considered that someone will want to tour on this, even driven by hydrogen, which is a great idea. Hydrogen is the way forward, personally. That's how I think it is. Hydrogen is the way forward. Electric is a stepping stone to something better. Yeah, I think electric's a bit of a stepping stone to something better, and hydrogen is the way forward. Do you really want your bike to look like this? It looks like it's about to launch itself into low Earth orbit, maybe. I don't know. Why don't they just make them look like normal bikes, and then people will get excited and think, yes, I could live with that. But then you look at something like this that's out of the Judge Dredd movie with Sylvester Stallone, and you think, maybe not, move on to the next thing. You shouldn't be doing that. You shouldn't be moving people on. And you should be thinking, I should be looking at this and thinking, wow, that looks like a normal bike. It looks like I could get on with that. It looks like I could ride that to work and not look a jerk. Yeah. So it's just a thought. I'd love to know what your comments are. Put them below. Okay. Next story. Zontes, the Chinese manufacturer. Zontes did the ZT310, of which there have been a couple of reviews online, and they are getting really good reviews. Apparently they're meant to be really reliable, this 310cc engine, and it currently retails at around £4,300 on the road, with 35 horsepower. So Zontes have now gone into the larger market and started to challenge things like the Triumph Tiger, the BMW F800, etc., etc. At the end of 2024, they'll be releasing the ZT703F, which is a 699cc triple engine, kicking out 100 horsepower or 63 pounds of torque. A price has not yet been released, But I suspect, knowing how aggressive the Chinese market is, I wouldn't be surprised if it was £8,000, £9,000. That's going to be really good value for money. What do you think to that? Put your comments below. If it was £8,000 or £9,000, and you got all the kit with the aluminium boxes and the top box and all that stuff, and you could go touring on it, and let's say it did 60 miles per gallon and things like that, would you be interested? Would you look away from, let's say, the Triumph Tiger 900 to this Zontes 703F? Would you do that? I don't know. If it was £8,000 or £9,000, I'd certainly think about it, and no doubt it'll come out with a great warranty, where from a manufacturer's perspective, everything will be covered. And like the ZT310, it has keyless ignition and all that good stuff. I'm not saying keyless ignition is a good thing, because I suspect that they're easier to steal, like the Range Rovers, where you just copy the signal from the keyring. I don't know. I'm not particularly a fan of that, but it's certainly something to consider. Something to consider. Anyway, let's get on to the next story. Okay. Speed cameras chopped down. What's being described as mindless vandalism to 2 speed cameras has prompted Cornwall Council and police to issue a joint statement. Officers were called at 3:10 a.m. on Wednesday, January the 3rd, to report that a static speed camera in Truro had been cut down. This is a really interesting subject. Recently, I live near Stoke-on-Trent, and on the A34 near Trent Vale, or just at Trent Vale, should I say, a new set of cameras have replaced the old cameras. It's a 400-metre stretch with about 4 or 5 cameras on that stretch, and they've all been replaced with new cameras over the last month or two. And all of those cameras have had stickers put over the lenses so that the lenses can't take a photograph. Over the last sort of 6 months, maybe a year, there's been a lot of interesting cameras. Certainly down in the London area with the expansion of the ULEZ zone, lots of people have been chopping them down, lots of people have been damaging the cameras, and that's spreading across the country now. And it's interesting the language that's being used. And I'm not promoting the damaging of public property. Mindless vandalism. Could it be possible that the people are just tired of having cameras everywhere? Is it possible? Put your comments below. Yeah, I mean, the stretch that I'm talking about on the A34, there are never any accidents or whatever. Therefore, you could stand up and say, well, that's due to the cameras. That's a good thing. That's a good thing, isn't it? But the cameras are just going up and up and up all over the place. And, as some of you may already know, I come from the IT sector, and software as a service seems to be the latest subscription to all enterprise businesses. And I'm wondering if these camera manufacturers are offering to the council and police forces a service where it's a case where instead of you paying, let's say, £100,000 for a camera, we'll offer the camera at £10,000 and we'll take 50% of the fine. I don't know. Is that the case? I don't know. But these latest cameras go up, and I think they don't just take the speed. I think they confirm that you're not on your mobile phone, which is a good thing. And they confirm because you shouldn't be on your mobile phone. Let's be clear. And I see it all day, every day. People using the mobile phones. Or they also photograph you if you're not wearing your seatbelt. And you should be wearing your seatbelt. Yes, but are cameras the way forward? And I always said that based on the time that people had at home through COVID, it allowed people to think deeper, think on bigger pictures, look at the news, think on bigger pictures. It gave people time to think, and now people are maybe rebelling against all these cameras going up. Something to think about. I'd love to know what your thoughts are. Put your comments below. Is it true that it's vandalism? It probably is vandalism. But, is it a case where it's rebelling against the system that we want our governments that we voted our governments in for? Are people getting tired of it? I'd love to know what your thoughts are. They are a good thing, but is enough? I don't know. I'd love to know what your thoughts are. Let's get on to the next story. Okay, let's talk about the Yadea, another Chinese manufacturer. Yadea, who are creating the an electric bike, kicking out something like 53 horsepower and 0 to 60 of 4.9 seconds, or 0 to 62 as it is today, 62 mile an hour being 100 kilometers an hour. 0 to 62 in 4.9 seconds. It claims that it's going to have a rapid charge up to 80% in 10 minutes. So you'll be able to charge the bike up in 10 minutes. They're not confirming what the range is going to be, but let's say it's 80 miles, then you could have a charge of up to 60 miles, let's say that's 80% in 10 minutes. 60 miles in 10 minutes. That would be really cool, I guess. That would be really cool. The challenge here is, how much is it going to cost? And I can't see a price here. And it's, that's the challenge. Is it going to be £15,000? I don't know. Is it going to be £8,000? It needs to be something like that. £8,000, even £7,000. It needs to be there to excite people to say, yes, I will buy one. But I suspect it's going to be somewhere around £15,000, like the Zeros. And, it's interesting, the Chinese market and the Indian market are coming up with really good prices on their motorcycles. I've been thinking about this. We've got Triumph, we've got BMW, KTM, we've got all the Japanese manufacturers. They're all very, very expensive at the moment. If these manufacturers don't be careful, China and India will consume the market, because people are not getting more money. With the rise of inflation and the cost of living, people will go down to cheaper bikes, and that doesn't mean to say the quality is poorer. It's just that the price is less. If I was one of the Japanese, I would be very, very conscious of this, of where India's bringing out the BSA at £6,000, the Interceptor at £6,000, the Hunter at £3,200. Yeah, it's this is a very competitive market, and people are buying the Royal Enfields, people are buying the BSA, people are buying Chinese bikes, and the prices of the Japanese, the Italian, the German, the British bikes are very, very expensive. And this sort of tells me why the retro market is thriving, because it's only old farts like me who can afford them. Yeah, it really is. So, as a pre-warning to those manufacturers, you need to look at your prices, because the Chinese and Indian marketplace will take over. Anyway, hope you've enjoyed this week's session. It's only 4 stories. I just thought I'd share them to you. And let's see what happens next week. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to comment. If this is a waste of time, tell me so, and we'll take it from there. Thank you. Safe riding. Be kind to everyone. Shiny side up. All that. See you very soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.